Howdy.
Morning.
How you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Good. Hey, you guys. How are you doing?
Good. How
Trevor?
are you?
Gary? How you doing?
How's it going?
What's
Good.
happening? Nice to see you.
You remember
too.
Scott? How are you
Morning,
doing?
sir.
Morning.
Yep. So, yep, everybody's met each other. Well, introduce yourselves so everybody knows like who we are and who's here.
I'm Trevor Detmeyer, the president, 913
Of
Interiors.
913. And
And I'm Michael DeVito, and I'm a project manager for 913 Interiors.
who do we have here?
I'm John Schmidt. I'm millwork engineer.
All right. So we got the heart and
Great.
soul of 913.
That's right.
So how'd you ever get a name like 913?
It's actually my oldest son's birthday.
Oh, all
That kind
right.
of inspired me to start it.
Really?
Neat.
That's what inspired you to start your business?
Yep.
Huh. What were you doing before?
Well, I was an independent contractor for years, and then kind of jumped around and just wasn't satisfied with the quality and everything that I was finding, and decided to start our own company.
Start your own company. All right. And how many years have you been working at it?
913 is 5.5 years old,
Excellent.
and I've
Wow.
been
And you're still growing big.
yeah.
Because we noticed from talking with some of your guys at the show yesterday that one of them said, well, I've been working for him for 2 months. And one of them said, I've been with him for 5 months. And one of them said, I've been with him for a year.
Right.
Wow. New hires.
Right.
Yeah.
So for the longest time, we just hired independent contractors because that's how companies work here, really. It's rare to find employee carpenters. So we decided to go a different route and get all employees.
Everybody on payroll.
Everybody on payroll. So that's why everybody's so fresh. Typically, independents don't want to come in as employees.
Yeah.
They don't understand the benefits of it, or they just don't want to.
They're,
Yeah.
they're cowboys.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
And you want clean slates.
Right.
So you can train them on how you want things
Right.
done.
And we've been extremely fortunate. Michael has found a lot of them, most of them, and he's found some gems.
Great. How do you
Yeah.
find your guys?
So we've got a pretty extensive kind of onboarding system or qualification system. Really, we're putting all our emphasis on this culture of the company and the kind of people that we want on board. We've had a lot of success both in finding people that are kind of like-minded, hungry and eager. Again, with all the independent staff, we had a hard time finding exactly what we wanted, and so we kind of took this path of if we can't find them, we have to make them.
Right.
So now we hire on culture. We find these bright young gentlemen, and we start training. We start putting them with experienced carpenters. We start kind of showing them our methods and doing everything we can to kind of promote that growth in the trade.
And
So-
they come along fast. They move fast.
They move fast. They move quickly. So yeah, you saw guys yesterday anywhere from 2 months in to I think the longest running was probably Eric, and he's just a little over 2 years now.
Huh.
But yeah, with the younger staff and younger company, we sure are doing a lot of growing, and we've been fortunate to find some really talented guys.
So you have a morning meeting. Is it like once a week or once a month or every day or?
So every Wednesday we have a scheduled meeting with all the lead carpenters.
So we just got lucky.
Yeah.
And hit your morning
Right.
meeting on Wednesday.
Right.
We did.
So to touch on schedule exactly what happened the last week, what's going to be happening the following week or more.
And how many lead carpenters can we expect to see at your meeting?
We've got 3, and then there will be one guy that he's an apprentice, and he's also doing logistics, deliveries, pickups, things like that.
Right now, and you'll see actually during the meeting, I will pull up schedule and I'll go through that with the
okay.
gentlemen.
Great.
But there really are probably 7, maybe.
A lot of the details now are, the caseless details, flush base. It's not a single phase job anymore. It's 3, 4 phases. That,
Yeah. You don't go in
It's
and
tough.
set rough finish and then come back and put hardware on.
Right.
No.
Not necessarily.
Life's not that easy anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 and 3 phases on a lot of these projects now. A lot of doors ahead of time.
Yeah.
We're just about to go set a drywall ledger for one, where there's nothing else done by us yet. We're going to do a drywall ledger and some substrate. So We have quite a few running.
How many guys do you have total working for you at this point?
So total within the company employed is 15.
Okay.
Yep. And then I've got a subcontractor pool of about 8 to 10 guys.
The hardest thing is finding guys that want to work as a team and are willing to work as a team, which we've got them.
They do work as a team out there, and it's really fun to see.
Try to order so it gets delivered. Austin, almost everything comes from Austin.
From Austin Hardwood.
Yep.
Yep.
And that
So-
way, as it comes, you're using it up.
Exactly.
And they're
Right,
so
so they'll
close
bring it,
by.
they'll set,
They
the
are.
shit gets here and run it right to the
Awesome.
panel saw or saw
All
stop
right.
it.
So what's going on out in here? You've got
So-
a sander over here and a like a joiner or something?
Yep, so shaper,
Shaper?
pocket hole machine, line borer, hot air edge bander, so it applies pre-glued
Okay.
edge banding.
Uh-huh.
So basically we come from either saw from processing the parts and right through, cut to length or edge band, and then just come around, line bore, pocket hole,
Got it.
and then to assembly.
Got it. Real tight, real organized.
Trying to maximize, the space that we have and work with the gentlemen that we have in here, so they're not.
So how many guys do you have working in the shop?
So 2 full-time shop workers. We have a lead cabinet maker and then our shop manager.
Okay. You got a little glue up rack here, kind of similar to what Randy has at Austin Hardwoods, but slightly smaller scale.
We actually bought
Another
this
one.
from them.
Yeah.
Another hand-me-down.
Oh, did you get that from
Yep.
Austin?
It sure
So
is.
one of their old ones. All right.
Yeah, we take all their scraps, mainly specialty items in here where we don't trust to outsource or just
Anything that's peculiar.
can't. Right.
Yeah.
So any special doors, paneling, beams,
Uh-huh.
things like that.
You
Occasionally,
pre-assemble,
yeah.
you pre-build everything here, and that helps you control the job too, doesn't it? Scheduling-wise and
It does. Yep, it does sometimes. And I mean, obviously, with a smaller shop, we are limited occasionally. So there we are again with some of the outsourcing as needed. But yeah, really trying to focus on some of the specialty items in here and some of the stuff that we want to have control over. I know one thing for me, talking about those efficiencies in the field as far as cut listing and how to communicate those and how to prep, and set up for success so that your installers or however you have your team set up, those guys are working efficiently. And real quick, the baseboard, the vented louvers,
Yeah.
is that all set?
Yeah, I talked to Drew. His compromise is run it still the same length with a 2-inch.
Pantry stuff's coming out today. I think the only thing that won't be coming out today will be the wainscot stock. You've got Alex Curtis with you? Okay, so at that time we might lean up again and we'll see where we're at. If we're just left with that wainscot, I may leave you and Alex there.
Wall bumped out for wall paneling is called 40% done, and we're probably 20% on the barbecue.
How are the miters coming out?
They're coming out pretty good. We're able to kind of taping and hot gluing some scrap of wood on there so I can clamp them together.
The second floor was carpet with now hardwood that went up against the baseboard.
Mm-hmm.
So our new baseboard height is not coming down to the floor.
And our goal with every project is, have at least 95% of it figured out by the time mechanicals are done.
yeah.
Everything we can think of. So then all during installation sheetrock, it's production off-site, and then we come in and all the leads they know exactly what's happening, what they're going to run into.
They can jump right in.
Guys should never show up on the site and have to figure stuff out. Now we're starting to make them more responsible for certain things, like we used to figure all the shims, but we loaded that top shelf up with shims. Grab what you need. It's their responsibility to prep the job site. And that's the biggest issue with everybody working as an independent contractor here, piecework. Nobody wants to or has the time to really show how it needs to be done.
Yeah.
Every project I've been on looks beautiful when you leave it, but you saw how the steps that people took to make it beautiful, and there are a lot of corners cut. In 5 years, it's not going to be beautiful.
Exactly.
And it'll be beautiful through warranty. And this in particular, normally we blind fasten, but they didn't want to. So we pin nailed, glued, and then in all of the reveals, typically we do spline with 3/4.
Mm-hmm.
We just put the fast cap peel and stick black edge banding where all these reveals are right under the OSB, and then one over top. Yeah, we always shim framing and then
sheet it again.
sheet it with OSB.
And that's your underlayment.
Mm-hmm. Almost every house we do anymore has square groove T&G horizontal,
Really?
which is really, really hard. It looks really easy,
Mm-hmm.
and it is if it's just a flat wall, but as soon as you get to an inside or outside corner, it gets
Boom.
10 times more difficult. Especially outside corners, to actually get a straight line is not an easy task.
No.
So we always shim and then
And straighten everything. So
because otherwise you're trying to
you're not
get
working off the
shim
walls.
every single piece.
Right. Yeah.
Mm,
You create your new wall. You create your own wall.
right.
Yeah.
So
Lasers.
we came in with lasers at framing, and we essentially just picked I think that corner was our starting point. That's where we had to start because of how everything laid out. And then we got just all of our firm dimensions. Luckily, they wanted almost full sheets everywhere. That was really helpful.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, like this hall was just turned a little bit off of this hall, which you can see how the littlest bit can throw everything.
So all these panels went up pre-finished.
Yes, sir.
Which we don't typically do, but we've been doing more and more pre-finish
Yeah.
just because like all that standing or getting in the reveals would
Yeah,
have been extremely difficult.
absolutely.
Oh.
So like this valance, we did the whole valance and it's all used attached with the invis because you can see from up above. So there's no exposed fastening anywhere on this whole valance and the whole thing's removable. And this one, you know, when it's open and closed, lines up with the
Uh-huh.
upper section.
Both directions, I'll bet. Hmm.
Yeah.
So you said that this valance right here has to be removable for the shades.
You have to access the shade, so we used the Lamello Invis fasteners at the top so we can remove them magnetically without any exposed fasteners that you can see from the floor up above. So one of our biggest rules with nails is, you know, never nail anything eye level. So anytime, you know, a homeowner, anybody walks through, it just feels clean. There's no holes in your face. It's psychological, just feels good.
So it's a
Yeah.
rule for your crew.
Right. Just like with profiled baseboard, if you know you have a detail that kind of swoops under, you flip your nail gun over, nail up through the detail instead of
Yeah.
down through the top.
Boy, they operate easy too.
Yeah.
It's like effortless. What's this little metal bead right here all about? Feels like it sticks up a little bit above the tread.
It does. So metal bead. So that is a designer or architect driven detail, and just a little stainless inlay for us to have a slip grip on the end of these treads. Okay.
So you've got tubular steel supporting the upper bunks
Yep. So there's
on both surfaces, front and back.
there's
just
a
a
fascia
ledger on the
span
wall?
kind of, and then a mid span, and then a wall applied cleat.
A wall-applied cleat
Yeah.
and then a steel across the span.
Yep.
So tell me about your miters that are really clean. Are you biscuiting those or dominoing them?
So all of our miters, we typically just glue and clamp, and then run a screw down through the top.
So your guys walk through and do pickup or like a pickup list or checklist or something?
So after the job's completely done, after punch list and everything, we like to try to get them into the job just to look at all their work.
So you
Because
have a walkthrough with all your guys,
Right,
Just so
so-
you can point out things that they should be more familiar
And really,
with.
we leave it kind of up to them
What do you see?
to look at their work and what do you see.
And your lead carpenters check the work once a week.
Every Thursday. On Friday, it can get cleaned up, corrected, so it's all clean for the weekend for whoever.
So
might
when your
come
homeowner,
through.
your client comes through, there's nothing major or an eyesore or
Right.
something that they
There's no
don't see.
bondo left on a joint.
Yeah.
There's, everything just nice and clean.
So everybody feels good, confidence, respect. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so important to respect your homeowners.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. How else do you expect them to respect you?
Right.
Yeah, respect is a funny thing that way. It's got to go both directions. Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. The actual beams up there are flat, continuous beams.
Yes, sir.
But the bottom piece you've applied.
We did.
Okay. And it's boxed. I can see it's boxed. Yeah. Nice.
We took it and tried to transition from the feel of a timber frame to an actual what can our shop produce and what can we install on site and make work in the real world. So we put this into SketchUp, drew it up, and created some options. We showed it to the architect, he got it approved, and then sent it to the shop.
We could not find a good way to get fastener anywhere in this detail on this English bead. So what we ended up coming up with is an 1/8 inch spline. I believe we use Baltic birch, not that it's critical, but spline is applied, glue obviously liberally applied to both sides. Piece is installed, and then we're actually using sacrificial block to screw in and apply pressure to that, or in instances where it's applicable, we're using clamps. And so we're clamping both sides of that until our glue sets up, obviously, and leaving us with a really beautiful finish.
So you don't have any exposed fasteners in this thing,
So zero exposed fasteners.
which would be
period.
ugly as sin because you wouldn't be able to ever hide them after. Never.
Exactly, and really difficult to sand out, fill, patch.
So tell me the story about this jam here. I mean, this is a massive jam.
So-
how'd you fasten the jam?
Massive jam. So jam, aside from being an engineered core jam that is wrapped in a paint grade material, the jams are actually bucked on the backside. So we've applied this 1/2 inch stock to the back so that we can actually fasten directly through that buck, which is giving us a fastening point and also creating kind of our drywall stopping point at the same time.
So it's giving the drywallers a spot to terminate their mill core.
It is.
And it's your fastener.
It
Two
sure
solutions
is.
with one little fix.
Two birds.
But I gotta know, how good are the drywallers doing? They gotta flush out to this, or they lip over it?
So they get a little bit of leeway involved there as well, because they
Okay.
are actually still using a drywall corner bead behind this English bead.
Oh, okay.
So it's not the end all for their terminating
so there's lots
factor.
of little wiggle room in
We're
it.
giving them as much help as possible.
Awesome. For something that looks like there's no wiggle room at all.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly.
There's a lot of tolerance here.
Exactly.
Awesome.
So nice clean fit, nice clean finish on the outside. Drywall knows where to stop.
And how are the
And,
guys cutting these curves in then for the
So, like we explained upstairs earlier, the kerf on the actual jams we're actually using a biscuit cutting tool for that. So we're actually getting a little bit innovative because we had a hard time finding the right kind of bit for our trim router to fit in and to safely be able to make this cut.
Got it.
So-
Got it. Excellent.
So this is what we were left with, and so far so good. Great success, very clean finish. Installation has been working well.
And is this one of those details that you guys drew in SketchUp first and kind of illustrated it?
Certainly is.
Awesome.
Certainly is. So
Awesome.
almost all of these details will have some type of shop rendering ahead of time so that we can establish some dimensions and just kind of really get a good look at these things.
Where did you find those? You are good, man. You are really good. Look at that. Good job.
It's
Mm.
a tough one.
Nice, nice.
This is the hardest one.
Not pinching there. So this is where you were really playing with your SketchUp drawing.
Yes, I understand how it looks out here.
Just wait a minute.
Now,